Back with part two. We're smoking cigars with Howlinblind, Muddy Slim, smoking my cain 660 Maduro. Now, to get back to income taxes and why income taxes are not needed, there are a lot of people who think that this country cannot do anything without our income taxes. It is proven, Ronald Reagan said it, it's been proven, our income taxes that we pay every year does not pay for anything that the government gives us in the way of social services. Streets and roads are built because there's an excise tax on the tires you buy for your automobile, for the gasoline you buy to put in the automobile to drive on the streets, the roads. Those are all paid by federal excise taxes. A gallon of gas may cost $2.56 a gallon, but there's a certain portion of that, I think roughly around 12 to 15 cents probably, and it usually states it on the gas pump. If you look at the gas pump, next time you get gasoline, look at the pump, you'll see how much excise tax per gallon is being taken to pay for roads and streets. And I have no problem with that, folks, because it costs money to build these things, bridges and streets and roads and highways. And, you know, I like taking the back roads. I like taking the back roads because it's a beautiful country in the back roads. And those roads cost a lot of money. But I also like, if I need to get to Indianapolis, let's say, but I want to get there as quick as possible, instead of taking the back road, I'm going to jump on I-65. Those roads cost money. Those roads were paid for with the excise taxes you pay when you buy a set of tires, when you buy gasoline. When this country let the central bank, the Federal Reserve, and central banks were tried to set up, and they were kicked out quickly by people like John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. They were opposed heavily. They were opposed heavily by these people. When it was set up again in 1913 as the Federal Reserve Bank, and it only says federal to make you feel like it's a government agency. It's not a government agency. The Federal Reserve Bank is not a government agency, and the IRS is not a government agency. These are private entities, private companies, private banks, and a private collection agency to collect for that particular bank. Wells Fargo, let's say when someone defaults on a loan, they'll sell that loan to someone who will do the collection for them. You know, you're sent to a collection agency. And they may use a different one each time, or they may use the same one. It just all depends, you know. But the IRS is the specific collection agency for the IRS. You don't pay the money that they say you owe in income tax. The IRS is going to come to your house, guns drawn, bulletproof vest on, bust your door down, and they're going to take every fucking thing you own for that bill. I'll never forget, I saw the documentary many, many years ago on Red Fox. And Red Fox owed money to the IRS. When you owe money, you do not owe money to the federal government. You do not pay money to the federal government. The Congress decides on if taxes are going to go up or go down. But they don't get that money. I'll tell you in a little bit where the government gets their money. You probably already know. But you pay your taxes to the Federal Reserve Bank. You pay through the IRS. You thought I was going to say you pay through the nose, but in most cases you do. So you don't owe money to the government. You pay it through the IRS. Okay? That's your income tax, and it's a tax on labor. The Constitution clearly states the only what income tax is supposed to be is on corporations. When a corporation makes a profit, you pay a tax on that profit. And that is exactly the money it takes to run our military. It's a fact. Look it up. Don't just take my word for it. Look it up. So where does your and my income tax? It's a tax on our labor, folks. We're not making a profit. If I'm sitting at home on my ass, I still have the same amount of labor in me that I have when I go to work. And trade that labor, 8 hours of it, for X amount of dollars. So it's an even trade. It's the same. I've said it many times. It's the same if I go tell my boss, say, I'll tell you what, I'll work this first hour for you, but I want that VCR and that TV. It's an even trade. The IRS is not going to tax me on the value of that VCR and TV. Second hour, I'll go up, I say, look, I'd like to have that box of La Gloria Cubana Cigar Maduros. I'll work 2 hours for that. And he agrees. They're not going to tax me on that. They tax me on my labor. When he hands me cash money. When my boss says, great job, Gary. Here's some money for all that labor that you just gave to my business. The boss made a profit. Okay, when you spend money and you buy something at one price and you sell it at a higher price, you make a profit. That's why when your money works for you, let's say in the stock market or the commodities market, you have to pay tax on that gain. You spent $100 and you got back $1,000, or you spent $1,000 and you got back $10,000. That's a profit. And I don't mind it going towards the government, but I'm really pissed off that it goes towards to the Federal Reserve Bank. And now I'm going to take one break. I'm going to come back with part 3 and tell you why I hate the fact that it goes to the Federal Reserve Bank and where our government gets its money to pay for social services that you and I get, like the CIA, the Pentagon, Homeland Security, and things like that. So, coming back, part 3.